So hi, thanks for joining me again. This is Struggling to Whistle Pregnancy Part 2. In Part 1 I discussed trying for a baby and all the pitfalls that come with medication and mental health. I discussed the perinatal team and the professionals involved in your care just generally, and I also discussed the importance of a support network. Nobody tells you about the weakness of bladder. The further into your pregnancy you get, the more difficult it is to hold your bladder. So the more chance there is that when you laugh, cough, sneeze, your bladder just no longer holds. Can't tell you the amount of times that I failed to hold my bladder during my pregnancy. A point that my husband found hilarious every single time. The other one is when people say, "Oh, you're glowing." It's a compliment, kind of, but it's like, well, I've been puking pretty much all day. See how much you glow if you do that. And the abundance of stuff you have to handle whilst you're pregnant. You've got your midwife appointments, you've got your scans, you may have a consultant like I did, which happened just after the scans, always on the same day. You've got blood tests to have, you've got urine samples to do, and then you've got to get all of the stuff for your baby at the scans. And sorry, eyes watering. You will have regular scans throughout your pregnancy if you've had no prior risk of miscarriages and you're not on medication, etc. It's not at all unusual for you to only have 2 scans throughout your pregnancy and the rest of your care to be dealt with by your midwife, who you'll also see on a regular basis throughout your pregnancy. At your midwife appointments, she will take your obs, so your blood pressure, your weight, and your urine sample just to check. They'll also listen to baby. They may let you hear the heartbeat, they may, and they'll just check overall that your baby's in the right position that they need to be in at that time. They'll answer any concerns you've got, and as I said in Part 1, they are capable of doing you a referral to the perinatal team should you need it. At your scan appointments, you will again have your obs done, so weight, urine sample, blood pressure, which they'll do really sneakily, tell you you're not a whale as they weigh you, and then switch the blood pressure cuff from a normal one to one for the morbidly obese. And then you'll have your scan, which you've got nothing to worry about. Just drink plenty of fluids before your appointment, because the fuller the bladder, the clearer the scan. And towards the end of pregnancy, that is going to really bug you because it's really painful. It's really painful to hold your urine. I myself had extra scans because of my miscarriages and the medication I was on and changes in baby's movements. So he was quite regular, then he wasn't, and then he was again. And so certainly towards the end of pregnancy, I wasn't feeling him move in the same way. So I ended up having obs done every couple of days where they'd attach the monitor and they'd listen to baby. I also saw a consultant after my scans each time, again because of the medication and the miscarriages. They gave me a consultant just to check that everything was going smoothly and that I had no concerns. I never actually saw the consultant themselves, I always saw a trainee, but they were lovely. So your scans are nothing to worry about, nor is your consultant care. As in Part 1, if you have any problems with any staff members that are dealing with your care throughout your pregnancy and after, you have a right to say, this isn't working for me, and get a referral. Another appointment to consider is the one for your diabetes check. Now each hospital does it slightly differently. My one, I had to go there and drink this horrible goo stuff, and then I had to wait, and they took 2 samples and compared them to determine whether I had gestational diabetes. I didn't. And if you are a negative blood group, you will have to have an injection at some point during your pregnancy. You'll have to have one afterwards as well, and that's that's simply to stop your body from rejecting the baby and causing problems, and the one after is to prevent any further should you go on to have more children. So obviously with all these different appointments and any anxiety that you may have alongside your mental health condition or just generally, things can get quite trying. You know, there's lots going on, there's lots to deal with, you're very, very tired, you're feeling huge, there's loads to cope with. But there are things you can do. I mean, there is lots to cope with. I mean, you've got loads of hormones going around your body, you're extremely emotional, reacting to situations and people much differently than you do normally. I myself fell out with my dad countless times during my pregnancy because we just clashed, and I was highly emotional. Then you've got your sickness on top of that. I was sick throughout my pregnancy, projectile at times. I had carpal tunnel, I had sickness, I had itching and headaches and tiredness, and I'm not even kidding, I slept through somebody installing new windows in the house, so drilling and hammering in the same room I was in. So when I say that you'll feel tired, you really will in some cases. Now I know there's some women out there that love the whole experience of being pregnant because it is amazing and wonderful, but these women enjoy absolutely every part of pregnancy, from, you know, the start with the morning sickness to the feeling the baby move and the scans, and that's fantastic for them. Myself, I'm more of a I hate being pregnant. I love being a mom, but because of all those different symptoms that I had, I ended up having, like I say, extra support in the form of I had 2 midwives, not 1. I had a consultant, I had extra scans, I had extra obs done, and in the end they decided to induce me because the change in Cole's movements hadn't settled down. They decided at 38 weeks to induce me. All you need to know is your scans are nothing to worry about, your obs are nothing to worry about. If you're experiencing any problems with your urine, you're worried in any way, see your GP or your midwife, or notify them at the scan and they'll send it off. There's generally nothing to worry about. Drink plenty of fluid if you are worried. Any other symptoms like itching, headaches, sickness, excessive sickness, carpal tunnel, you know, these things, always see a professional who I'm sure will support you regardless. But in terms of your mental health, take some time to yourself, even if you are at work. Even 5 minutes with a cuppa can make the difference between you completely breaking down and coping. If you need to rest. Be realistic with yourself. If you've decided you're going to work till the very end but find yourself getting poorly partway through, then discuss your options with your partner or whoever. And if you need to quit, you need to quit. Mental health is a huge thing. A lot of people don't understand it. So that's it in a nutshell. It's difficult at times. Pregnancy drags and is just awful, but you can get through it, and as I always say, you are not alone. Anything that you feel I've glossed over or that you want more information about, leave me a comment and I will get back to you, either in the form of a written response or in my next vlog. Thank you for joining me again. Please subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and share. Thank you.